A little update video on the truck and all the changes. I've noticed I'm getting some comments and stuff, and I was just going to answer all the questions I've been getting. This is the FE3 swap. Quite a bit done. It is lowered. Still on stock Leafs 4-inch blocks. Still working on the wide body. In the front, I did a coilover conversion kit with Speedway coilovers and 650-pound springs on stock suspension. It's got a new splitter. Finally moved the intercooler down lower. Put the stock grill back in. Pop this. Do have the cowl hood. Alright. I'll glance over. Alright, so it's FE3. This block is actually stock other than the ARP head studs. And Felpro head gasket, nothing fancy. Stock Felpro replacement. Got a custom exhaust manifold here that I built. You can check my Instagram for pictures and all that kind of stuff on all that. Test fit in the manifold. Clears the AC. This runner is going to be a bit shorter than everything else. Everything else is pretty equal length. Just got to get the wastegate somewhere right about in there. We're good to go. This is a TO4E turbo. It's a T3, T4 turbo, T3 flange with a 2.5-inch V-band exhaust. Pretty stock. Did the injector cup cut. Running the RC injectors. Kind of dirty down here, but this is a stock lower intake on a stock fuel rail. It's been modified in some ways. Holley fuel pressure regulator with boost reference, but I don't use that. Custom upper intake that I built with a Mazda Miata, the 1.8, the one that with the TPS sensor that is variable, so that way I can use the TPS sensor for the micro squirt. It's nothing fancy. This is actually just a piece of 3-inch steel pipe and a steel flange that I made and another steel flange that I made. Run the GM sensors on this. It's a GM air temp sensor, GM map sensor, 3-bar. Crank sensor is right down here on this. You can see the tooth wheel there. Maybe get the camera down in here. See the tooth wheel. There's the crank sensor. I'm using some factory mounts, and that is a Mazda Protege. crank sensor and crank wheel that I modified and welded to the crank pulley. Mazda Miata 1.8 liter hose kit on here for the radiator hoses. Coil packs are Volkswagen. The 2-liter turbo early ones work with the micro squirt really well. If you read the manual, it has the part numbers in there for these. This harness is a pre-made harness that goes to a Deutsch plug that's unpinned on one end, and so you can wire that in pretty easy. Like I said, these are RC injectors. They fit this factory plugs, but these are not factory plugs. But if you want to run a factory harness, you can modify all that. That's what I did for a while. This is still running stock AC. Fan kit is off of a Ford Taurus, I believe. It's one of the Ford cars. Maybe a Focus, I'm not for sure. But it is a dual fan kit. Shroud fits pretty well. It overlaps a little bit over here. Ignore the zip tie, but fits really well. They work good. Doesn't pull very many amps. I think those are both 30 amps a piece. Like I said, I put the stock grill in. You can still see where my bumper got cut, where the intercooler used to be up in there. We lowered that down. Got a new splitter on. It's already kind of getting chipped up. Like I said, still working on the wide body kit. Here's these fenders that I made. They're fiberglass over fenders. Still working on it. We're going to be making a full fender. Just haven't had time to be messing with fiberglass. Been busy with work. Haven't really messed with this except for small little upgrades. Battery relocated back here. Custom drag wing. Steel. It's really stout, heavy, but it is direct mounted to the tailgate, so it does work. Gas tank's been moved. Fill cap there. Where the fill cap used to be is a kill switch. You can remove the door. Otherwise, it's locked up. Nobody can mess with it. It's pretty cool. Rear splitter. It is kind of ghetto on there, but it also doubles as a skid plate. Stock gas tank there. Built these caps to kind of seal up the hole. They're kind of getting beat up from the bumper. Like I said, it does have this skid plate for the gas tank all the way around. Kind of looks like a diffuser on the side wings. Got the side exit exhaust. Stock springs. Does have a Dana 44 rear end in it now. LSD and disc brakes. And they're pretty big. They're actually overkill. It's pretty much all the upgrades. Do have an electric vacuum booster in here to help with that under boost. That way we can use a brake. That's the new setup on the outside. On the inside, quick release. This is dropped and got to do some more management there. Got the gauge set up. Transmission is Mazda B2600i trans. We're using the B2600i flywheel. It bolts to the Kia FE3 crank. You do need the automatic shim from the Kia, the ones with the automatic, to make that work. Stock shifter works from the Mazda, and this one I modified and shortened. V2600i bolts directly to the factory mounts. Speedo works, tack works, fuel gauge works, everything works in here. So we are going to be upgrading the trans eventually, but all the gauges work. Console's out of a Honda Passport or Isuzu Rodeo. This is that same parking brake. It goes with the Dana 44 rear end that we put in. With the disc brakes, it also has a inner parking brake inside the caliper here. I mean rotor here. Brake kit. Cables I just routed. Booth setup. I guess I could have showed that. 212s. Got a race seat. And then we have our 6x9. Oh, and speaking of brakes, to make the brakes work, we have this came out of a Nissan Pathfinder, I believe. Yes, Nissan. And it fit in the factory location. It is a stubby nose. The booster's a tad bit smaller than the factory one, and the length of this one is way shorter. And to make that work, I'm using a proportioning valve, a manual one. Got rid of the factory. That way I can adjust for the big rear brakes. That's the new setup. Y'all check it out. I'll throw a little video of me playing around with the parking brake, trying to see if I want to put a hydro in here, but I don't think I will. We did take off the side skirts for now. I am working on that with the body kit because there is going to be some changes with this. And we're going to do an over fender back here in the back and get rid of the bolt-on look. And that's it, guys. Peace. So I couldn't just leave y'all out like that. Got to give you a little sound. I don't think I mentioned the exhaust setup. I did show the side exit, but it is all 2.5 inch. It does have 2 turbo mufflers made by Flowmaster. It's the FX series. I have 2.5 inch straight through, and also one that has a big echo chamber. And then I'm running a Chinese resonator off of eBay that was $25 to get this sound. Little 2-step anti-lag.